Anywho, so we're here for another week. It's been 2 weeks since the last game. Well, we missed 1 week, but 2 weeks have passed. And yeah, last time. So I don't know. We can do a collective recap this time. So the main thing was that you fought the big bad guys. Well,
Yeah.
Did we?
Mm-hmm. But I do want you guys to describe sort of like the finer details. Because there was a lot that happened there, and I want it to be open to your interpretations. So I guess I'll start it off. So we had started off at the camp outside of the monastery, and you guys basically came up with the plan, and you guys had tossed around a few ideas for the plan, but eventually you decided on, hey, why don't we make the giant who can fly invisible, and he can basically just lift us up onto the wall, a bunch of us. And if I remember correctly, you guys used the bag of holding to like put like 8 or 10 kobolds inside of, something like that, and started your attack. All right, now when do you guys take over?
Yeah, go for it, Jack.
Let's see, so we followed some lady to, or maybe it was a man, I don't remember, to the cave that we teleported into. And Zindarock was there with his book. He gave to a goblin, and the goblin died after he opened the portal. Dude took like fucking 40,000 guard damage.
Yeah.
With 7 HP self. And then we started fighting them. Middle of the fight, Arlana and that other dude showed up. Whatever his name is.
Was it like Darville, I think?
Ardvin, maybe?
I don't know. It's something like that. Don't worry about it.
Anyway, he and Lady Arlana show up, and all of us were like, of course, Lady Arlana's evil. She's a giant asshole. That just made sense.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Darville? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it was Darville.
Yeah, it's Darville.
Who the fuck is Ardvin?
That is someone else that I remember. Hold on. I'll find it.
Yeah, he wrote a letter. Anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So we killed them. Well, we almost killed them. Lady Arlana was still alive when, I guess, Skleravrak, the fucking Nord god of chaos and vengeance, showed up and was like, I'm going to make all my puppets dance, and you can kill them again. So we did that, and then he left. I guess because he's Thor, and he just rides around in lightning bolts.
Yeah, he had Mjolnir. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's a ripoff. It's actually just Mjolnir. You know, whatever.
And then after that, we went outside, and everyone else had finished the battle outside. Took a shit ton of prisoners.
Yeah,
we
because
just kind of walked around. We burned a bunch of drugs, found some letters, and got a bunch of money.
yeah, actually, so I will say, before we get going, so this is actually in general. So people watching this in the future, in a few weeks on YouTube when I finally upload it, this session is probably gonna be a little more chill and just going over some stuff and figuring out what's happening as we get going with the next like leg of the campaign. I'm not sure where it's gonna take us, but I was actually gonna say though, to start off, it might be good if you guys sort of reviewed the letters you had and stuff, or just got the gist of it again. And
nothing that is in those letters could possibly affect what I am deciding to do.
Well, that's fine, but it still might affect what the group decides to do eventually, you know.
Let's see. So Zindarock wrote to yeah, he wrote it to somebody that the prince died because the prince of the kingdom died, and so things will be happening soon in the kingdom, presumably Alderland. He's trying to get some ritual done so they can make a bunch of money or kill a bunch of people in the war. He doesn't really go into what take advantage means. They're going to try and get angry, fearful people to join him. And then he writes about us and how we got the Shield of Felling and that he's going to kill us, but haha.
Haha.
Yep, that didn't happen.
He wants the skull fragments from us, and his ritual is probably bringing Dalrin back from the dead, because some dude named Ardvin wrote a note, and he said, I guess writing to Zendarok, that if he couldn't get Dalrin back to life, to go back to the High Priest, and that the beasts are really hungry. Whatever the fuck that means.
Yeah. And then,
Oh, yeah, and,
My daddy's been taken.
yeah, Adam of Durndale's on the run, and the cultists are closing in.
and you had talked to, so you guys also talked to Alec, who's the brother of Darville, and both him and his brother are related to like the Dukes of Norland, which is one of the major
cousin, nephew.
Yeah, they're like cousins. And so Anna actually had been told, sort of by her, she had sort of a lead leading to Alec, and I don't actually remember what exactly he told you guys, but it was basically something. I think he told you a bit like how he's a prisoner there, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and how
Tried to leave the cult, and they were like, nah.
Yeah. So I guess the other thing I should say, so actually, as we start again, I think with one of the last things we had done is you guys had been talking to Rhymebout, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, and
he
so
told us that he was one of the Duke's sons.
Yes, he told you that he was one of the Duke's sons, and I actually forgot something as a part of that conversation, and this is where we'll start again, actually. But he will tell you guys, actually, when you're all gathered around, that his name isn't Rhymebout at all.
Okay, that's pretty fucking important.
Yeah, I kind of forgot that last time. His real name is Alric. Alric. Yeah, so I forgot that little tidbit of information. He would have told you that when he told you he's the Duke's son. But he tells you, and he basically tells you that he was hiding his true name just in case it triggered you guys knowing who he was or something, just for security reasons. He was trying to keep it on the down low that he was back in the kingdom. And I'm assuming none of you guys have like an issue with that, but once he tells you, at least, I don't know.
Not an outwardly expressed issue.
What was that name? That is his actual name now?
Ulrich. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like that.
That was a dumb name.
And so
I almost typed Ulfric.
No rhyme, all right.
The Stormcloaks.
So, and so, let's see. Hold on. I have notes of the other stuff I forgot to tell you guys. And so, by the way, just so for people watching this on stream or on YouTube later, just so you know, I guess out of game, Matt is going to not be playing in this game anymore. After the first yeah. So his character, Roywin, that he played just last session, would probably be heading out around this time. I think he'd basically be like, work's done. I did what I thought, so I think that's honestly, he's not too invested. Roywin wouldn't really care about all the stuff going on here, so he'd probably leave you guys to take care of it once he figures out that everyone is safe, at least, or all the people are safe on your side.
Honestly, it's for the best.
So he will so he's actually around this time after you guys meet up and talk about stuff. You still have stuff to resolve, but he's going to go ahead and head off, and he offers you guys all of his stuff. He's just going to keep 50 gold to himself. Other than that, he's actually going to leave everything else to you guys. So I'm going to make it so you guys can all see his sheet.
What a nice dude.
Yeah. Actually, you guys should all be able to see his sheet, can't you?
I'm going to take my spear plus one.
Bio and info. I can't actually see his...
All right, there you go. Now you can all edit it. Just, just be careful.
So I'm going to take my spear plus one back. Actually, no, I can't carry anything more, so...
Anyways, though, so there's the... so that's all the stuff he has. And he said...
I have his bag of holding so I can carry more.
It's up to you guys how you split that up, but he... So he just requested that you guys leave him 50 gold. So that means you guys get 813 gold.
50 copper, got it.
And actually, yeah, I'm just gonna I'm just gonna change it to 813. All the stuff you see in there is what he was offering up to you guys. I removed 50 for him to keep.
I'll give you the bag of holding if you let the three of us split all of this money.
Ooh.
All right, done.
All right.
That's good.
Sounds like a deal to me.
Okay, yeah, you guys do that math. I'm not worried about it.
Don't
I
worry.
trust you guys. So there's some other stuff to resolve though. So you find out right about is it right about all? He's Ulrich. And I'll try to remember calling him from that from now on. And actually, when he tells you guys that, too, Richard would come up to you like sometime soon after and tell you actually, just because Richard likes talking to another elf. He would tell you that Rheinbout was actually the name of Richard's brother who died. Died in the same like fight or whatever, the same attack in which Ulrich saved Richard's life. And so
Rheinbout is a much more elfly name than Richard is, I must say.
So you say that to Richard? Richard just kind of
Yes.
he just shrugs like, I don't know.
So how much money am I putting in the bag of holding?
None.
None?
No, you took the bag of holding, and me, Kragar.
They split the money.
I thought I heard that you
split
wanted
the
to
money
put all
for
the
you
money.
once.
Alright,
No.
yeah.
No.
I'm fine with taking nothing but the bag of holding in my spear plus one.
There you go.
Yeah, it seems pretty good. So the other thing is, and again, we're not going to worry too much about which order these events are happening. You guys are all just wrapping stuff up here. You guys do find out that there is that they found which person out of the prisoners and released hostages and stuff. They found actually the leader of the monastery, the abbot or father or whoever. I don't know what the term would be.
I have 666 gold now.
Fuck yeah.
Nice. So anyways, though, so you guys are told at some point, informed by one of like the little kobolds, runs up and tells you guys like, "Hey, we found which one of them is the leader." And let me pull the information up about that. Oh god, did I close out that? Oh my god, I'm a dummy. So I'm assuming you guys would go and like talk to this person. And if I can find the information about them. Here we are. Okay, yeah. So you're brought to this leader, and they're actually in like a separate room, and they have a bunch of kobolds. Actually, like a couple kobolds and a couple humans are like guarding them, and actually are holding weapons up towards them, basically, as you guys walk into the room.
Well, I'll look at Anna's, her kobolds.
Mm-hmm.
So who is this person?
So it's so he is an Avriel. It's a bird boy here. And he like is just standing in his room, and he looks like nonchalantly like he's chilling there. As you guys are walking in, like I said, the kobolds and humans in here all have their weapons pointed up to him. And when you guys walk in, this Avriel goes like oh, you silly humans.
Well, he ain't right.
Certainly doesn't sound that way.
You dare enter my monastery?
Well, I'm afraid to tell you, I don't think it's going to be yours for very long.
We will never
Well,
fall.
I suppose I should say it isn't yours anymore. I don't think it's been yours for some time.
One of the kobolds actually like tugs on your I don't know, your like cloth on part of your garments, Jack, or knocks it and is like tugs on your shirt, and it's like so he didn't start doing this till after we cornered him in here.
Right.
He was
And
he was barking out orders to the other monk people.
orders, like battle orders.
Ah.
I see. Well, my sister did say that some of the monks were in on it.
And
Go for it.
he's like in on it.
Yes.
This boy sounds like he's about to go prospecting for gold.
He's a madman.
Say whatever your name is.
My name is
there wouldn't
Tarby.
Right, of course it is. There wouldn't happen to be anyone else sharing your brain, would there? Maybe sharing your body?
Oh, this brain is all mine now.
Oh, I see. So I'll just look at the rest of the party and be like, I suppose we just have to kill him then.
I'm going to kill him.
Okay, and we're not gonna roll initiative because against one thing,
Yeah.
no problem.
Like I just shoot him in the head.
Yeah, you shoot him in the head.
Bang bang.
His body slumps to the ground, and rising from his body is another shadow demon. And again, I'm not gonna make you guys roll initiative because it's like 7, 8 on 1 or something like ridiculous, But a demon actually does rise from this dude's body, and it's now chuckling, and it actually just reaches out its arms and says, basically come to me and send me back to where I belong, if you really wish.
Gladly.
Okay. We kill it.
Yeah, you guys kill it.
You can't,
Oh, God.
demon.
Say
And
I
it-
know.
And it goes poof. Oh yeah, it goes poof, and then it disappears.
Oof.
But even as you guys were hitting it, it was just laughing maniacally. Anyways, though, so the body slumped on the ground is actually not dead though. It's alive. It's just passed out, similar to what had happened with Satali, with Nox's sister. So yeah, it seemed like the person on the ground there is still alive. I don't know what you guys want to do with that information, but
Are they conscious?
they aren't conscious, but you can wait till they come to or heal them up or something.
I would like to wait until they come to.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, so no problem. Yeah, it's just maybe an hour.
Wait, so he's not dead?
No, he's not dead. The body.
Oh.
No, he's not. No, yeah. No, the demon was cast out when he went down, but he didn't die. No.
No, I wanted to kill him though.
Oh, you...
The innocent person?
No, I wanted to kill whatever was happening.
Yeah, you did. You killed the demon.
Yeah, we did.
No,
The
but
demon's gone.
he was part of it.
Well, you see, SirPurplex, the character, doesn't understand the nuances of the situation, so he probably just tried to decapitate the poor bird.
Yeah.
Would
Yeah,
you guys?
but-
There's no getting knocked unconscious if you're actually trying to kill somebody.
It was ranged attack.
Oh, I guess I guess that's true. Would you guys heal them afterwards then? Because otherwise they would die.
So Nox's
Well,
assumption
you
was
see
that
about that,
his mind was just completely crushed, and that the only solution was to kill him after what the demon said. So that's why I said, I guess we have to kill him.
Which is why I tried to kill him.
All right, you know
I would have striked with lethal intent. But
Definitely.
if he doesn't happen to die and then the demon comes out, I'm just gonna kill the demon.
Yeah, so
Well,
he
sure,
goes
yeah.
he goes down, and so you guys could you have a couple
Yeah.
turns where you could heal him while he's down and the demon's up. So I don't know if you guys would, but you don't have to. It's up to you guys.
Kind of assumed he was dead.
Yeah.
He's bleeding
Yeah.
out. Yeah. Do you guys have any healing? I mean, you have some potions, right? But you don't have to use them. I'm not trying to say you guys should. It's up to you guys what you do.
Also, we ended
there you go.
when
He's
So we have
he's-
one healing character.
he's healed and conscious.
Okay.
Woo!
We have one sort of healing character.
Yeah. Okay, no
If
problem.
he
Yeah.
has any consciousness to him.
Yeah. So he comes back to, and he's like, ah.
I'm
What-
gonna lean down next to him. What's your name, son?
Tarvi. But
Alright, time to look at what the people. Jack, what's Nox's sister's name?
no, it's not. Oh, you're. Which one?
The one that was possessed.
Oh,
I'm
Satali?
asking because
Satali.
Satali.
Yeah, Satali.
Ali.
I thought you were saying that you thought that she was, or that this guy was another one of Jack's siblings, and I was like, you know, I don't think that works like that.
Alright, what's this guy's name?
Tarvi.
Alright, then I don't care about him.
Okay. He's like Tarvi, but I feel like I've been asleep for forever.
Not exactly asleep, possessed by a demon.
He's
What?
right.
What?
Think of it as very aggressive sleepwalking.
Where are you
What?
from?
I'm from. He looks around at like the room, and he's like, I'm from here, from the monastery. But who are these people?
I can assure
Your
you.
monastery was basically overrun by a demon cult.
Also,
What?
the monastery's here, but you're not exactly where you were.
What? And he holds.
Kind of explain that.
Is there? Well, is there any windows?
There's like a window, yeah.
Is it facing the mountain?
There's mountains all around, so yeah, there you would be able to see landmarks.
I guess I'd just point out the window. Does any of this look familiar to you?
No.
He's like, oh, what?
Knock. What's this Anna speaks of a moving monastery?
So I'll sit miles down next to Tarvi, and I'll bring out my map, and I'll say, so this is where the monastery used to be, and this is where we are now, where the monastery is.
Oh, the monastery used to be in someplace different.
Yes, right here, many, many, many miles away.
Didn't you go there, Miles? I think
No.
you
We
guys
did stop by there.
You stopped by,
Did we?
by there.
Yeah.
Do you remember the basement with the angry ghosts?
Oh yeah, that's where the monastery was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You thought there was just a random basement for no reason? I guess we
People in
could have
the West
explained
can
it.
be very, very strange.
So Tarvi is he's
Yeah,
like
moving monsters or whatever.
Monsters?
Tarvi is like oh, and he like holds his hand to his head. He's like oh, I don't feel so good.
Just give it a few days, it should be fine.
What? So what? A demon cult? And the monastery is not in the same place? Why?
To be fair, I'm not sure what kind of cult they are. They seem to be trying to raise an older cultist from the dead, but they worship
Why-
God, and they work
why-
with demons.
Why do I feel like I was asleep for so long? The demon thing you said?
Yes, you basically were asleep. Though not rested, as I'm sure you can tell.
Oh, I think I'm gonna need to rest. And then he like passes out from exhaustion.
The like healing would probably imply that you take the arrow out of his head, yeah?
yeah. I would assume so.
No, it's just stuck in there. It's gonna stay there forever now.
It's just magical healing, you never know.
I think the arrow is taken out of there at some point.
You see Anna's an asshole and just heals the people with the arrows and projectiles still stuck in them.
So he passes out from exhaustion because I don't know. He wasn't really sleeping. It was the demon inside of him. I don't know. He also kind of just passes out from like shock, I guess. Emotional shock. He's like, "Oh, what's happening?"
Yeah. He's a little bitch. So
Yeah.
he fell asleep.
Basically. So
Well, there's still one monk from the east that I still haven't accounted for.
Yo, you're starting to creep into your other character's voice.
I know.
wait,
I haven't played Miles in like 2 weeks.
which
Greg has only had one voice for all characters.
what's
Anyway.
Yeah.
Let's see. Which one was the one that you had missed?
I can't remember.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay, that's fine.
I know we found Satali,
Yeah.
and the other ones don't really matter. I just know I haven't found one of them.
Okay. That's fine.
Let's just say it was Leon.
Okay, Leon. Fair.
Haven't found Leon. There we go.
Got it. Alright. So, in that case... so the soup passes out. About this time, actually, this took a few minutes. About this time, someone would inform you guys that they got, they have the prisoners that were taken from Snowfeld and have gotten them some food, like some food in them, put a blanket over them, and now that they're ready to talk with you guys, if you guys want to, including actually the one halfling dude who was fireballed and then you guys healed. So the three of them, it was that halfling dude and then the halfling woman from Snowfeld and the druid dude, the lumberjack druid dude. I don't know if he was a lumberjack. He was something like that. I have it written down somewhere. So them three are also ready to go now. Let me find them. So I'm assuming you guys just check over them real quick.
Do you have anything to say to them?
I'm assuming you're just going to say...
I would like to speak to them just so I can ask their names.
Okay.
Okay, sure.
What is your
Hold on,
name?
I have them written down somewhere.
What is your quest?
Who were these? Oh, okay. So it was... I swore I had this right here. It was Wyatt was the dude who knew a little bit of druidic magic, and
Yes.
he was like a lumberjack.
He was a woodsman of sorts,
Yeah,
yes.
some woodsman. There was Alice the halfling.
The half woman.
Yeah, who was she was a midwife. And she knew some sort of healing magic, to go along with that. And that's why she was kidnapped. And then there was this other dude who got fireballed in the final fight. And his name, I have it right here, is... I have it somewhere here, I know.
He's the dude that we met elsewhere, wasn't he?
Yeah, you met him elsewhere.
Saved his ass from the emo goblins.
From the emo goblins.
Yeah. He wasn't really worth writing down, so I don't know his name.
It's okay. It's Oh, that's lovely. I said okay. Yeah. Okay. His name. He calls himself Berrynan the Brave, and I'll put that in the chat.
Bernard the Brave.
Berrynan.
Berrynan.
So he actually he's the only one that I would say he actually requests to talk to you guys. The other people are just glad to be saved, but he was all burned up and he still has these burn scars, even though he's magically healed. A little bit the scarring is left behind, but he is he's doing all right now after an hour or two, and so he requests that you guys come talk to him.
Sure.
Okay.
And so when you guys walk up, like I said, he's a sort of a he was dressed in finer clothing, but they're all ragged and torn and burnt up now. He's dressed in decent clothing, pretty decent, above average clothing, and he's sitting here sort of just with his wounds being dressed, and he looks at you guys as you walk up, and he's like, "Why did you save me back there?"
We had other things to attend to.
Hold on. Are you not saved right now?
Why did you save me? I could have saved myself.
Oh, why did we... I thought you said why didn't we?
No, he said why did
Yeah,
you?
the call has been a little iffy.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Well, I suppose the next time you find yourself chained to the wall, about to be sacrificed to some ritual, we'll just leave you there.
We can put you back if you want.
He looks down. He's like, "You know what? It's okay.
Come on, let's go put him back."
I think I recognize that folks such as yourselves might not be able to tell when You're interfering with a mission such as mine.
Sure. I don't really have time for this. A lot of things.
I'm gonna throw a hand axe at him.
Fuck!
At him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you not?
I mean, it's like not gonna.
What you doing with that axe there?
You can do it if you want. Just make an attack roll. Sure.
Okay. Oh no, I had pop out. Hold on. We're getting things sorted out here.
You know those use strength, right?
Yeah. There you go.
So you throw it and it like goes right by him, and he's like, what the hell was that for?
I'm gonna shoot Eldritch Blast over her head.
Over his head.
No, over her head.
Oh, over her. Yeah, okay, I got it. Over Sue's head. I thought you meant his. Yeah, okay, that makes more sense.
Behave yourself.
He's like,
I'm gonna say in Sylvan. Well, he seems prepared in a very ironic tone.
so he would look at all you guys,
I'm just going to give a slight chuckle.
and he's like, I heard that,
We all hear many things. Anyway, if you don't have anything better to do than say that you could have saved yourself, be going away then.
Wait, one last thing. If you all are ever headed through the Haffelshire, then feel free to stop by Haffeldale Rest, which out of character, that's the capital of that county. He's like, feel free to stop by the capital. My cousin Emanad will, if you tell him I sent you, he could maybe help teach you how to be better adventurers.
I just kind of squinted and turned away.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna laugh at him.
Yeah. And he goes back to tending his own wounds. Anywho. So hold on, let me make sure.
So, I like the thing that Roll20 added recently, where you can add multiple global attack and global damage modifiers.
Yeah. Hold on one second.
Also, Troy.
I don't like how I
I
unprepared all my
wrote
spells.
you a question for your character. It's in the chat line.
So that was all the major points, the minor like plot points that we hadn't gotten around to last time. The other question is though, so Ulrich, previously known as Rhinebout, he'll tell you guys he wants to take you guys to see his father, the Duke, right?
Yes.
He basically says, I'm assuming, I don't remember exactly what happened, but didn't you guys ask him if he could help with like stuff with the Baron and stuff? I don't remember exactly what you guys had told him about that situation, but
I don't.
But in any case, though, he's like basically like, I want to take you guys to meet my father, because you've done a lot of service to the duchy and should be rewarded for it. And if you need any help with anything, he can probably help you. So before you go there, though,
What the fuck is this?
It's me rolling stuff.
But before you go there, though, I do have a question for you guys. So there are the couple loose ends to deal with. What do you want to do first off with the goblinoid prisoners? Some of which had been fighting against you guys. Some of which seem like they themselves are prisoners.
Right.
What do you guys want to do with them?
So I was gonna ask Rhinebaut's merry crew of adventurers to stand guard here over those guys, and have them get the monastery like cleaned up.
Mm-hmm.
But I also wanted to talk to someone who would be a representative for those goblins.
Yeah, sounds good. One of the hobgoblins would step forward, and I have a name somewhere. Give me a sec. It would be.
I'm gonna ask Miles. Should we not just kill them all?
They might be of some use later on. And I tend not to like killing things that are begging for mercy.
So the one that comes up to you guys is named Bardord. Bardord, the hobgoblin.
Bardord.
Yeah. He comes up to you guys and he's like, or when you guys ask for someone to speak for them, he
Does
basically.
play music?
No. He was. But he's one of the people fighting against you guys. But he surrendered peacefully, and after that, he hasn't given anyone issues.
Okay.
So he's brought in front of you guys.
All right. So here's the deal, Bardord. I plan to take over this monastery with a group of my own soldiers at some point in the future. But I don't expect that it'll be... I expect it'll be some time until I have enough people to properly maintain this place. I don't have a whole lot of love for your kind, but given the way that your women and children was being kept here, I can't imagine that you're all too keen on your circumstances either.
We don't want to be here.
Right. Well, see, the problem is you're unlikely to be welcomed anywhere else.
We have a clan, you know.
Oh, yeah? How do you propose to get back to them, wandering through the wilderness with a bunch of people wanting to kill you?
I am part of the Crooked Tooth clan, and we have our own keep.
Does that name ring a bell at all?
No, probably
To
not.
anybody?
No, probably not, I would say.
Your keep wouldn't happen to
Bells.
be...
Oh, there it is.
Whatever that village is.
Arlinsford? It was like west of Instrid, yeah.
Yeah. Ask him if his keep was around there.
He's like, how do you know that?
Well, you see, your clansmen decided to kidnap a good friend of ours, so we tracked them down and we murdered most of them.
They were
Response.
only acting on orders. The cult kept us here. They kept our women and children. They made them work in the fields and told us that they would kill them if we did not help.
Right.
Our
So-
leader, he is fierce. He is a warrior at heart, but many of us are warriors by necessity.
I'm gonna
Well,
relook to Miles and say, "You sure?"
Here's the deal. I'm not going to let you go back to your clan. You have an
Please.
option. You have one option, and that is to stay here and work for me.
Hey, Commander Root, thank you for the follow. You say his one option. His one option is to stay there and work for
Stay
you.
here and work for me.
And he looks down at his feet. He's like, and then his eyes. He looks up to you, and his eyes just have like a look of pleading in them. And he's like, I only wish that my wife is safe and she is here, but if they find out that we have betrayed them, they will attack us here.
You're not betraying anybody. You're being forced into service.
That is not what he would see.
Well, if necessary, we can take care of the rest of them.
Your leader. Did he say his name?
No, he didn't.
Okay. Your leader begged for mercy from us once before, and if it comes to it, he'll do it again.
He begged for mercy from you.
Well, we were about halfway through killing his entire keep.
And he looks down at his feet again for like a good long 5-10 seconds. Then he finally looks up at you and he's like, you seem like not a terrible human. Tell me this. If we work for you, will we be guaranteed fair treatment?
Well, I'm not too keen on running a slavery operation like seemed to be going on here before.
I just wish that since I speak for those of us that are here, I just wish us to be safe. I am not. I have fought many battles. I have killed many of your kind, but I do not wish to cause needless blood if it will cause my people's blood to be killed or to be spilled.
You saw what happened when we got here. You saw all those kobolds jumping the wall, correct?
Nasty folk. And he glares at Grizzles.
Yes, they're rough folk.
I hated having to work with them at all.
We not so long ago took their home by force.
They were in a
and we're able to work with them.
Situation to yours.
We know of the Drake's death, yes. We received some information from the cult, even though they hated us and used us as slaves.
So you see, we can be trusted to keep this kind of deal.
I cannot speak for all of my companions, but some of them will probably try to run away, but as for me, I agree to your conditions.
I don't really want to let any of them go.
Hey, he said they'll try.
True.
I propose killing them one more time.
He
What
looks.
language are you asking to kill them in?
Yeah, are you doing that in common?
No, it'd definitely be in like Elven.
Okay, something he doesn't know. Gotcha.
As
Oh, so
attractive
I can't
as
understand it.
As attractive as that option is, it wouldn't be right, and I need them. I say that back to her in Elven.
Mm-hmm.
I roll my eyes.
I like to think you were trying to talk to me in Elven because you couldn't remember which of us knew Sylvan and which knew Elven. Or you just didn't care.
I guess I'd tell him.
I also just didn't care, yeah. Commonly, I'll just speak in Elven.
To do his best to make sure that his people understand that they really only have one option.
Yeah, and he'll just say like the bonds of a clan for many of us are very strong, you see.
Well, I'm your clan now.
And he's quiet after that, and he just nods, and he says, "I'll try."
All right. The humans who came here with us are probably going to be staying here as well. We have plenty of time to bond with us. And
Alright.
so just leave them at that.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, and there actually aren't that many. So let's see. I had some numbers, but there is maybe like most of the goblins that actually died. So there's maybe like 6 goblins and 8 hobgoblin, and that's like the males. And then some of them have some family. Those are the fighters, of the group. Yeah, I'm gonna say 6 goblins, 8 hobgoblins. So it's not that many, right? It's manageable amounts. But yeah, and so yeah, so he says he'll try.
All right. And then I guess I would want to talk to Rhinebout's people.
Okay. And yeah, they would most of them seem like, so they had minimal losses after this battle. I think I described that maybe like one more had died, and then there were a few injuries, but Anna had helped out with those and everything. So they actually, the people there, they actually seem like so I'm assuming you're offering them like to work here.
Yeah, I'm offering them to stay here and work here as well.
Yeah, they would all pretty much, maybe 1 or 2 would want to like go back to their family, but a lot of them would be like, we were looking for work when we found it originally, and we still need work. So most of them will agree if you keep paying them they'll stay here.
I do plan to keep paying them.
Okay.
I tell them I tell them about the deal that I made with the hobgoblins, and that I plan to be back at some point with more people.
Okay.
But I don't.
Yeah, they'll one of them actually would come up to you and basically be like don't you think we should maybe pay the hobgoblins? That might keep them a little happier.
I guess I'll look at the group and ask them who can do math. Not the player characters. But assume all of the player characters can do math.
I have a calculator open right now.
Yeah.
Ironically, the only person that I can think of that has an intellect bump anywhere amongst us is Grizzles.
But I'm asking the Finebouts people.
Oh, them. Yeah. So
I don't care if any of us can do math.
One of them is one of them is like oh yeah, I did some what do we call it? Like, record keeping for a small temple somewhere.
Sure. Okay. Well then, you're gonna be deputized as my accountant.
And he's like, you know what? I'm gonna find it. He'll be he's just gonna be Jim. His name is Jim, and he's Jim the accountant. He's like me, the accountant.
Well, unless anyone else can do math, I'm going to do the job.
Everyone else shrugs.
All right. So I hand him. I guess I'll give him 500 silver and be like, use this to pay the men and the hobgoblins.
So he asked you how much per day for the men, how much per day for the hobgoblins or goblinoids.
Okay. Anyone who's using weapons can get I guess 5 silver, and anyone who does work growing food gets 2.
Okay.
I don't know how much. I guess days that they work.
So 5 per day.
Are you gonna go full landowner and start opening shops and paying them in in fucking property only coin?
That's fucked up.
I got you. So alright, sounds good. So 5 silver.
But also, if the hobgoblins can't leave, how are they gonna buy anything?
Look, don't worry about it. They're the ones who want the money.
Yeah, they actually, at some point when you tell them that they're going to be paid if they stay with you, they actually seem a lot more enthusiastic.
Bet.
Yeah, and yeah. Alright, sounds good. So you give them 500 silver to last a while.
I have to arrange for a merchant to come out here so they can actually spend some of that money.
I just so happen to be related to a merchant.
Oh my god!
Actually, I'm also related to merchants.
Absolutely disgusting.
Though, I would rather not do business with them.
Wow, Dick. Shutting your own family?
I just remembered what my family does.
The last thing I wanted to do was finally take Arlana's armor off her goddamn body.
Yeah.
Put it on my horse.
Put it
Speaking
on
of horses.
Wait, you put it on your horse like it's gonna wear it?
No. strapping it to the back.
Try to squeeze it on it. No. Yeah.
I'm gonna.
So actually, Lady Alana, she had plate armor. Yeah. So you guys get the plate armor off. It takes a few minutes. Because she's not helping. She's dead. But that's actually one thing I was going to tell you guys is that so I do think I haven't stressed enough. Plate armor is actually kind of rare. I kind of you guys
said that the first session.
Yeah. You guys have run into quite a few people, but normally it's not that common. Just so you guys know, especially in these parts. So Lady Arlana having it in the first place is a little out of the ordinary. Just so you know.
Is there a stable in this monastery?
Actually, well, here, let me move us to the map, and let you guys have free reign. You know, let me hold on. Before you guys start moving around, let me
Hello there.
let me make sure I don't have any.
My old friend. Oh, there we are.
And actually, hold on, give me a sec. I'll make this easier.
Dynamic lighting.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So there's like a little bit of like random crap all over the place. So, anyways, this is the monastery overhead view. Can you guys see inside too? Yeah, you can. Okay. There is actually also in the center part, there is also a second story that is not really modeled on here, but is basically just like a slightly smaller second story above the first one around that inner courtyard. Other than that, it's basically, you guys actually have found out that the main area in the middle is where like sleeping quarters are. The western portion, it's actually not western. I think it's like, I need to turn it 90 degrees or whatever. But the part on the left is actually more of like the part on the left is where the people, like the warriors who defended the monastery were. That's where like the armory is and stuff. So if the monastery ever came under attack, because it has walls, you know, and a gatehouse. Yeah. If it ever came under attack, that's where like the people would run and get their weapons. That's where the people who were like warriors, the warrior monks, lived in that portion. They have a little training area in that courtyard. And the right portion is like a library wing. I didn't really put any bookshelves in there, but it's supposed to be like a library wing where there's actually kind of like a stud, like a, you know, those rooms around there are studies, and there's even a classroom there you can see with those benches, where like the kids of the people who live at the monastery full time would be taught stuff. The building up to the northeast, well, the top right, is that's those little chambers up here. This is where you guys had been held prisoner.
Yeah, and I was wanting to go over here since there was all of our supplies were left here before. So some of the actually, so I would say you might not learn this right away, but after the monks, the people who lived here and stuff and who were taken prisoner, after they start coming down from those brainwash drugs, then you start actually getting more information out of those guys. They actually tell you, first off, I would say, before I keep going with this, you guys also find out that actually most of the people, those brainwashing drugs are like really strong, really potent. So lots of the people that were fighting against you guys, they don't even really remember most of what happened. It kind of just seemed all blurry. And they remembered that the main reason that they were willing to fight against you guys, they try to defend themselves. They're like, oh no, we only fought against you guys because our leader Tarvi said we should. Let me tell you guys that. They're basically like, you know, we trusted him, we knew Tarvi a long time, and then he started telling us to do this stuff for these newcomers, and we just did it. And everything seemed like a blur after that, you know. But so anyways, though, so they start to get more information out of these people now, and you find out this building up here basically was where they used to put up visitors that came here on, you know, people who came here like on little pilgrimage trips, or people who were just traveling through the area or anything. They had those little rooms that you guys were held in. They were converted into like a prison area, but they really are just like little inn rooms. And then there's a little tavern area next door and a kitchen. So it's just an area where people could be, you know, could hang out, a little traveling stop. This building here is not a chapel per se, but like a worshiping room, right? It's like where the shrine is, the main shrine and stuff. And it just has like a simple wooden roof or something. It's not too big. And then at the top left is a little farming area, quite a decent sized farming area, and a forge, and then a little building where they stored like the hay and stuff like that. So that's about it. They probably have some chickens and stuff like that, maybe some goats. I don't know. So it's a pretty self-sufficient little compound, actually. They have a decent farming area, and they tell you that that they normally also have like hunting and stuff that goes on in the woods around there. But, well, around where it used to be, really. Anyways, and then there's the gatehouse. That's about it.
Like, start encouraging the monks as we talk to them that they should probably find like a new place to set up their monastery, because this place is now out in the middle of nowhere and
they
tainted by this everything that's happened.
They seem very sad by this. They're like, but even though this building is in a different place, I thought, for sure, the ones who were prisoners, they were like fully sentient, conscious the full time. The ones like the ones who were like the wives and children and stuff of the ones who were brainwashed, basically. They tell you, they're like we thought when someone came and rescued our.
Wait, there's women and children with the monks here? They're not. Okay.
No, some of them, not all of them. A lot of them are just like celibate or whatever. But there are some that have families here. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They were mixed in with the hobgoblin women and children, actually. There was a mixture of humans, Averials, and hobgoblin and goblinoid women and children, all being kept prisoner together, basically. Not a ton, not a ton. But the women and children here, they basically tell you like, oh, we thought for sure when someone came and rescued us that they would help us, like, that the Duke or someone would help us put back our monastery.
Put it back?
What do you mean put back? Because I don't think that's ever gonna happen.
They said most of them say that a couple of them actually say that they remember the night that it happened when they got moved here, because they were in the monastery when it happened.
Do you know what
maybe
they're like,
in that book.
They say they don't really know what happened, just that they were in their rooms when suddenly they were under attack. And then they heard after a couple minutes, so they were just cowering in fear in their rooms. Then they heard they heard a loud, like, bang, like, whoosh, and like a crack and stuff. And then they were here.
Maybe that's something that a book can do.
Most of them say they're like we don't know what happened, but we just we thought for sure that someone else would be able to figure it out when they got here.
That's very optimistic of you, and good on you for keeping up the hope.
It's the only thing we can hold on to while we're working out in the fields.
The old location still available, is significantly more empty.
Yes, it's a perfect build site now, completely flat.
The
basement is still there.
Definitely not any angry ghosts there. No, just kidding.
There aren't. We killed them.
Well, no, we didn't kill all of them.
We killed one.
Anyway, no, I'm just kidding though. That's out of character. They wouldn't know that. So
they'll know soon.
Miles was actually about to ask them about that.
Mm-hmm. Do you ask them about that? Yeah.
About the ghosts in the basement. What's that all about?
Ghosts in the basement?
Yeah, if you're monastery. Well,
there were never any ghosts there. We would always go down there and pay homage to the people of the past of our monastery. And then we never had any ghosts.
Well,
oh, man, it's too bad we don't have that necklace.
Well, you see, there's a lot less of you now than there used to be.
That's true. The attack had its toll.
And people
My
that
husband
die...
didn't come back! Another one yells out. No.
People that die in those sort of situations tend to have regrets, and
you know what? Okay. At one point, one of the an Averial one will come up to you guys actually, while you're talking to them, and be like, "Please, have you seen my husband?"
What does he look like?
He was. His name? He had black fur, and he had torn garments by the time I last saw him. But then they said they sent him on a mission out to another site somewhere.
What's his name?
Okay, now I'm gonna have to think of a name.
I don't think we've seen your husband, ma'am.
Well, we might have, but we wouldn't know him.
They sent him. He went with a cloaked woman. She looked kind of like you.
Oh.
RIP.
He's probably dead.
What do you mean dead?
Well, so dead is when you're dead.
But he can't be dead. I thought they just sent him on a mission, and I hadn't seen that woman back here since.
Right. So they sent all those people on a mission to kill us. So.
But he would never. Kiddick would never kill any of you.
Yeah, you think you know, man.
He wasn't himself, and you killed him.
You're right. He wasn't himself.
Was I supposed to let him kill me?
If he wasn't himself, how did we kill him?
And then she just starts crying, and like the other woman like start comforting her.
Pat her on the head.
Yeah, but I was told he wasn't himself.
It's true. You were told that.
Anyways, though, and there's actually a couple more. There's actually a couple more that come up to you guys, and yeah, you guys kind of figure out that those people you'd been killing were actually part of the monastery. Most of them were.
Wow.
Yeah.
To be fair, there's probably more friendly fire on the monks than anything. So
definitely, we didn't kill most of them.
Yeah, actually, they killed each other a bunch too. Yeah, that's true. Anyways, though, but there's a lot of mourning and sadness, and then especially when you tell them that they have to leave this place, they're all like, "Why? Why do we gotta leave?" But
well, because it's a security risk.
One of the
because Nox has determined that this is her house now.
Also that, but I'm not telling them that yet.
So eventually, one of the women would come up to you and be like, basically ask you, like, if you could help them pay for constructing a new monastery in the site of the old one, because they'll tell you, they're like, yeah, we actually do like that old spot, and we agree, we belong back there, not out here in the wilderness. It's a little closer to society there. And they like the spot there. It's sort of a historical spot for the monastery. But they ask you, like, can you guys spare any help to pay for masons?
I dump a bag of. Oh, okay.
I reach into my bag and give them 50 platinum.
And she takes it and she's like, oh, I never even seen a platinum piece before.
Well,
I reach into my bag again and hand her one personally.
Anna wanders off for a second and comes back lugging a fucking huge sack full of silver and just sets it down at their feet. Here, take this. I can not carry this.
I'm just imagining like a wheelbarrow full of silver.
Yeah, so 2,000 silver and whatever else he's given.
Yeah, they
got the big money for the expensive stuff, and they got the pocket change.
They're
spending silver and 50 platinum.
Yeah, they're super grateful. Actually, they're like
7,000 silver.
Yeah, no, 700.
No,
wait, no. Oh, yeah,
7,000
silver, 700 gold. Mm-hmm.
Mr. Totally not Rhinebaud, but Ulrich. Has he been with us this whole time, or has he wandered off?
He would be doing his own stuff, but when you guys want him around, he'd be there.
I'd probably dip out and talk to him about maybe helping them out with favorable pricing as far as rebuilding their monastery back where it was.
Oh yeah,
Since, he's got some pull with
He'll tell you that most of the masons they would probably use would be in Instrid or Snowfeld, and that's going to be a little bit more of an issue. But he'll tell you
it's only going to be an issue for Baron of Snowfeld. Is still the Baron of Snowfeld.
He tells you that he's going to do what he can. He says he'll do what he can. And the people are really happy now. Actually, even though they're still mourning, they're still sad, obviously. But they're like they're much more grateful now to you guys. They're like, thanks for the help. This should be enough to at least get started on constructing.
Like, I imagine what they're going to do is probably put up a wooden wall and houses, and then probably start building a stone monastery again over time.
Yeah, they say this is enough to get started. Thank you, and thanks for saving us. So
they rebounded real quick from not remembering like 3 months of their life to being like, yo, your house isn't in.
Well, I mean, collectively,
your house isn't in your yard anymore, and you have to move.
This is including like the woman too and stuff. Like they're all collectively as a group starting to figure their shit out.
It's like if I went to sleep and then woke up, looked out my window, and I'm in the next state over, and I'm just like in the Walmart parking lot somewhere, and people are like, yo, I don't know how this got here, but you gotta leave.
Yeah, no, they're still like I said.
Your whole house is in the Walmart parking lot.
And I checked my phone, and it's actually December.
Yeah, no, yeah, they're still upset, but they're like they're a little better off now.
What are they gonna do? Move it back?
Yeah, yeah.
Piece by piece.
They recognize, like, when you showed them the map and stuff, they're like, oh no, we can't do that. That's ridiculous. They're like, maybe if it was a mile away, we could maybe haul it back. Use some wagons.
If it was
and stuff.
a mile away, you could just stay there.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
but they're like, no, it's too far.
It was moved somehow, so
magic.
They have a chance.
Well, that's what they say.
Cultists do enjoy consumable magic, though, like those fucking stones.
Anywho,
but like,
probably one and done. Like, for all we know,
it can be consumed once, it can be consumed again.
That's not how that
works. I think it's the opposite of a consumable.
Honestly, Anna probably doesn't want to delve too deep into how the monastery got moved, considering they might have just asked the fucking god of chaos and fuck you to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe they.
He really does seem to enjoy fucking with mortals, so I imagine moving an entire monastery halfway across the country is up his alley.
So that's so you've dealt with the goblinoids, you dealt with the people who used to live here. You have the humans that are going to be staying here, the Ulrich Rheinbout group. Are there any other thing that I'm missing? It took a while, but I knew it was going to take a while. Tied up loose ends. If that's it, then I think I guess like
Anna would probably talk to Grizzles about figuring out a way to send the kobolds back home before they cause some sort of trouble just by existing.
Yeah, actually, I was just going to say that Grizzles, that's probably the other last thing, I guess. And maybe, like, we'll talk about the giant in a second, too. So the kobolds would probably, they probably just would, as long as you, so they took some losses, too, actually. Like, we're going to say, like, 4 of them died, right? Because they're pretty weak. So there's, like, 25, 26 of them left now.
But hey, they must all be like level 1.
Yeah, they all feel much more experienced. And
oh god, we need to do some random tables and figure out like randomly what they are.
I can figure that out.
An MMO.
But no, it
is now.
And in any case, though, so they would Grizzles would tell you that they actually, after this little battle, their bloodlust is kind of satisfied. And they are like, they're like happy. Actually, when you guys, while the humans had been cleaning up wounds and rounding up the prisoners, most of the kobolds had been off drinking. Like they raided the wine or ale that they had here on site and had been started feasting, right? Like battle after battle, post battle feasting. Grizzles tells you, and the other Eldom dude whose name I forgot, they tell you that the kobolds are probably, their bloodlust has been sated for now. So as long as you maybe give them a little money and then send them on their way, they'll be good. Maybe like they say, like
we gave Grizzles a lot of money.
That's true. Actually, yeah. How much?
Let me scroll up and find how much money we gave him.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Grizzles has almost 400 gold. He has 1,600 silver, and he has 800 copper.
That's how much gold we gave him.
Oh yeah, so so I guess then Grizzles actually probably would say, I can handle this, and I'm gonna send them back and give them some of my money. And then
I assumed he would distribute it amongst his people.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I think he's still greedy. So what he's gonna do is he's gonna give them literally all of his copper, but nothing else.
I'll just delete that then.
Yep, he's gonna give like 800 whatever copper that he has in his inventory right now. So.
Kobolds do value quantity of shiny.
Yeah, exactly.
Caring about what it actually is, because they were literally hoarding trash piles.
He goes into the place where they're feasting and just starts throwing like handfuls of the coins, and you hear their screaming, their gleeful screams from the other side of the compound. And they're maniacally laughing and cheering and getting drunk, and one drink takes a kobold a long ways. Anyways. But Grizzles comes back to Anne after a while. He's like, I think they're gonna be okay. I'll get them back to their place after they're done with their hangover tomorrow.
All right.
Yeah. So you guys should have no more issues from them. Their bloodlust has been sated. They got plenty of money.
Month.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the kobolds.
We need to find something for them to murder monthly.
So that's the kobolds.
Oh, this wee thing.
So what about the giant? What about
Says
Strefham?
the one that's trying to get a fucking order of knights set up.
Yeah, sure.
So what about Strefham? Like, what would you guys tell him, ask him, or whatever?
Fuck, I don't know, dude.
He would say like, like, he'd basically be like, oh, wasn't that a great battle back there?
Yeah, I guess so.
You should have seen. When you had all left, I smashed open the gate with my foot.
Stove?
Anyways, though, so he's sort of like happy that he took part in the battle. And
Glorious battle.
He'll tell you guys, though, he will actually tell you guys, though, that he wishes to go back to his personal castle and spend some time there to recover. Because, he only had a few days between last time.
By all means, man.
Yeah, he basically says he wants to go home with Stormwing, I think was the name of his griffin. He wants to go home with his griffin and spend some time at his house for a bit.
As far as I'm concerned, we're more than even. I just extend my hand to shake his.
Yeah, and he gives you a shake, and he's careful to be not too hard with his strength. Yeah, not too forceful.
Not to like hardly rip
your
all.
arm off. Yeah, yeah. So you're fine. And so he'd probably leave that night. Actually, he probably wouldn't even stay the night. He would do any if you needed him to move the remains of the gate somewhere because it's heavy or something like that, he would do that. But then he would go.
Anna would probably mention some of what we had learned from like all of the letters and stuff, that there's more cultists around. Obviously, mention the meeting the god. That'd be an issue for him too.
He would say that he's heard of that god, but that he doesn't really know much about any of that beyond what you told him. He would say
mortals.
He would be like,
Well, does he know that god, or does he know the god very closely named to that god?
No, that's a different one.
Oh, okay.
Sklerovrak, he's like,
oh,
did
yes. You mean a different one as well?
The one you fought.
Were you even awake last session?
Nope.
Remember when the god came down with Mjolnir and then raised up from the dead? Well, actually, later on, I was still alive, but basically, yeah, he turned into zombie things.
Bitch.
Yeah.
Not Thor.
Didn't realize he was a god, to be honest.
Yeah, he is.
And
figured he was like Thor or something.
What do you think Thor is?
Thor's a god, dude.
Thor was a god.
Anyways,
definitely was at some point. But...
So he, anyways though, so Strefham, he'd be like, oh, I've heard of that god, definitely, from humans I've interacted with over the centuries or over the years. But I never heard of him doing anything like that. Never really heard of a cult like this cult before I met you guys, at least. So none of this new information really rings a bell with me. He'll tell you, he's like, I know mostly about the affairs of giants, and even then I'm sort of like isolated from them.
Okay.
Most of them don't like him.
Hopefully if we meet again, it's under better circumstances.
Yeah, and he lets you guys keep that sending stone, that cloud-shaped sending stone. He says if you do...
I have no intention of giving it back.
Yeah, he says... if you do ever need me, contact me again, basically.
All right, cool.
Like, honestly, though, what would have been the benefit of keeping it if he didn't want us to have it? Because the only thing it can do is contact the stone that he has.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's not like a cell phone where it can contact any sending stone that you have the number for.
Exactly, it's paired. Yeah. So anyways, I do think that's pretty much it. For the stuff in the monastery, do you guys think of anything else?
I don't think so.
There is one more thing we need to do, and that is go to Fellington.
Yeah, okay.
And then do other stuff.
So, we will cover that. So,
I guess, we as characters should actually talk about what we're doing next.
Yeah, let's do that. And then, like I said, you guys can take as long as you need to talk about stuff like this, because it is not, we don't have really a time limit or a time frame to go with here.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
So yeah,
we should probably fucking wait for him because he's got important input.
Yeah,
in this conversation.
Yeah, you know what? Well, let's take a short break. I gotta go piss anyway.
Sure.
So and then Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna mute us for a second. We'll take a quick break.
Okay.
You'll be an important member of your order.
I think there was.
Yeah. All right. So I'm unmuted us because we're all here, and Jack had brought up a good point that he had wanted to look for a.
I just brought it up first.
Yeah, you guys wanted to look for a graveyard or someplace where Elowen would be, or her body.
Last week I wanted to try and find her body.
Yeah. All right. So there definitely is like a makeshift graveyard, actually. Yeah. There's a few like hastily dug graves near the farming area.
Okay.
None of them have headstones or anything like that.
Which one looks the oldest?
I guess, roll me like a perception check.
Could also be survival if it's like in the soil.
Why do I have
what is happening?
Why do I have +0 like that on there?
You have a global on?
No, but that wouldn't. Not for.
Do you have like a 0 filled into one of your modifiers?
I just saw that picture of the wheelbarrow with the copper coins. That's great.
Those are pennies.
Yeah, exactly.
They're
Anyways,
not made of copper. They're made of zinc.
Well, yeah, that's true.
They're just coated in copper.
Well, at least
There's
one
like-
of those is made of some copper.
Yeah.
The +4 is
The
correct.
odds are pretty
'cause
high.
Our proficiency bonus is only 3, and the +1
That's
is
fine.
from the luck stone.
Oh yeah, the luck
So I have a +1.
Yeah, it added up.
Modifier and all my stuff, but I don't know why.
Why is it adding
Or
that
plus
0?
zero is
Yeah.
it?
Well, so in any case, the in any case,
In any case.
so it's not that hard to tell. So Nox and 2, you guys both tell that these graves are all pretty much the same age old, which is a couple weeks maybe, not too old. They're all about the same age old though.
It was because of guy. I don't know. Okay.
So like around the time that we escaped?
I think
Yeah,
so.
roughly around that time. Yeah.
I guess there were other things that died in that
Yeah.
encounter.
It's worth a shot. I guess I would ask my new employees to. No, I guess I would ask them if they know who's buried where.
Yeah. They tell you.
It's just way more sensible.
They tell you, oh yeah, Robert was buried here after he died a couple weeks ago. I remember that happening. So and so's husband was buried here, but none of them mention Elowen or anything that sounds like Elowen.
Dun,
Dun,
but all the graves
dun.
are accounted for.
Yeah.
Okay.
They said they had
I
use for it.
guess I would ask the Hobgoblin leader if he knows about it.
He would say that. Yeah, he would say actually, yeah, I was one of the ones who had to take her body. I had to take her body
To where?
to the moor, to the north, and his eyes are like he like shudders. He's like, ugh, you know.
More.
Say, what do you know of her book?
We were told it was in a bag. We were told not to touch it, but we brought it with us. I actually led the group. We went
Was
to
she a part of your cult?
Who? The elf?
Yes, the elf.
No. He, Zindarok. He sent us. He forced us. He told us to go to a meeting point. North.
I can imagine who he met with. If you said the Moor,
We met with
that was the Master of Ravens, must have been.
not him, but his servants.
Right.
And we showed them the book briefly. And they seemed almost as if they were to attack us. But we outnumbered them, and they didn't attack us. And Zindarok told us, well, Darvil was there. He I was leading my kin, but Darvel did the talking, and he told the servants of the Master of Ravens. He told them that he offered up the elven woman, her body, as a gift to them. That the Master of Ravens could use her as a servant if he wished. But that was a token of appreciation, and that the real deal would be struck up for the book. I have no idea. I do not know what the Master of Ravens of the Moor. I do not know what he wants with her or the book, and I'm afraid to know. My kin and I, we do not want to know. But I do not want to be near the book.
Well, the book's his problem now, so I point at Miles, so you don't have to worry about that.
He nods, yeah.
Well, at least we know where she is. Thanks.
And he nods. Okay, yeah, so
I guess at this point I would look at everyone else in the party and be like, well, we took out, well, at least this part of the cult. Some of these letters imply there's more, but I guess what next? We did what the wizard asked us to do. I have business that I really need to take care of in Fellington after the attack there and after everything that's happened here.
I also need to go to Fellington.
And
You go to Fellington?
he said that, yeah.
I suppose I can go there.
Is Richard around?
yeah, I would say Richard's probably around.
But yeah, also, just because I'm gonna use sending and attempt to use sending to Elwyn. and I'm only going to say, are you undead now?
Hold on.
How would that even work?
She's a creature. If she's undead.
Let me look at sending real quick.
That's so stupid.
See, you send a message across any distance and even to other planes of existence.
Yeah, no.
But if the target is on a different plane, it has a chance of failure. Let's see here. You send a short message, 25 words or less. Creature you're familiar. Creature hears a message.
You hear no response.
But does the spell not work?
I don't think the sender knows.
Yeah, you wouldn't know as a sender. You would try to send it either way, I think.
Because you cast the spell.
Yeah.
But like, there's nothing in the spell that guarantees that you know.
That you know. It doesn't say. Yeah.
There.
So I would say you just don't know if it worked or not. You just don't receive a response.
Since it's not specified, it's literally up to the DM in this kind of situation.
Yeah, and it's not a concentration spell or anything like that.
I would say maybe it worked, but maybe it didn't. Either way, you don't get a response. That's what I can say.
Yeah.
Also, there's a 5% chance that the spell doesn't arrive if they're really far.
No, on another plane.
I mean, that's pretty far away, isn't it?
Like,
I mean,
although the thing is, she's more likely to be undead and still a creature on this plane than she is to be living and on a different plane, because her spirit wouldn't be considered a creature anymore. Yeah, I don't think, unless she was some sort of ghost or something.
Spooky.
So, in any case.
Alright, well,
it's up to you.
So are we... Oh,
what day is it? I believe it's afternoon.
Our lawyer's trying to talk to Richard.
Yeah, it's afternoon. I don't know, evening by now maybe. I don't know how long you guys are planning on spending here, but... so Richard, so 2, what do you say to Richard?
I just wanted to, like, ask him what he's gonna do now.
He says, I still owe a life debt to Ulrich. I will follow him to the grave. I go where he goes.
Well, too, I imagine that Ulrich's going to be going to Fellington since that's where his father.
Yeah. Only he literally offered you guys that he was going to take you there.
That's true.
Yeah. That's fair. I'm gonna just get sentimental with Richard.
Mm-hmm.
Tell him, you know, he's my family now. See how he responds.
You gonna tell him that?
Yeah.
He'll look at you and look at his feet and look up at you, and you see a little bit of emotion in his eyes, but he doesn't cry or anything. But he's like, I can see that you have a lot of respect for me, but my family died, and my life now is a life of service. I can feel no bond such as that. I would not allow myself to do so.
I tell him that my family had died as well, and service isn't the only thing he's good for.
He nods in understanding. He's like, that's maybe, but...
Does he have a real name, by the way, or is he actually Richard the Elf?
That is not his real name. I have one somewhere. Hold on.
Would he have ever told me his real name?
I mean,
yeah.
his master told us his real name, so like,
It's gonna be...
I meant like in the
hold on.
past.
I don't think he's told anyone yet.
Yeah, it's
Who's
gonna
told
be...
anyone what?
Richard, his real name.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
it's definitely not Richard, actually.
Well, like, I
that's
met
his
him
fake
like,
name, yeah.
a while back. He's been my bestie.
Has
I don't know if we had a bestie talk or
Hold
anything.
on. Hold on, I'll find it. I have one somewhere. I know I have one on here somewhere. Excuse me. I think I'll get, you know, it would actually be I don't have a name actually, but I know what it would be though. It'd be Raymond or Raymond, right? Raymond.
Can we just stay with Richard?
We can stay with Richard.
You want to stick with Richard? Okay.
You'll always be Dick to me.
I'm sorry, it's just like, just funny because none of it sounds like elf names.
Well, no, yeah, it's I'm actually more. I was trying to. His name is supposed to be more of like a Southern French sounding name, like Raymond. You know, I don't know. That's what Rhinebaut is. I don't know. I was trying to go for that feel. Anyways,
I'm just gonna call him Ramon.
Ramon. That
Yeah.
works. Let's call him. You know, we can say that's his real name because
I don't speak
Ramona.
French, so his name's Ramon.
All right, his name is Ramon. I actually kind of like
Ramona
that
and
too. Because I realized I didn't have one written down, so I think Ramon sounds good too. Give me a sec. No, but he'll answer by Richard too if you guys don't want to change his name. You know. Anywho. Yeah, Ramon. That sounds good. So, in that case, so you guys are gonna head off then to Fellington?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yep.
Okay, sounds
I
good.
guess home is where the hut is, so it doesn't matter if it's close to evening already.
So yeah, so.
Oh, before we left though, I'm gonna try and look for some kind of bags to put on my horse.
Mm-hmm. You can find some saddlebags, no problem.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Or some reasonable equivalents. So, Ulrich would ask you guys though, like, yeah, I really wish I remembered how much you guys had told him about what happened with the Baron of Snowfeld. I think.
Let's see if I can.
We told him that he poisoned Nox
Okay.
because he wanted the Shield of Felling.
Okay, yeah. So in that case, he would. That's all I really need to know. In that case, he would definitely ask you guys. He'd be like, you know, he would recommend to you guys that you should not pass by Snowfeld, and when you get close to Snowfeld, you should go off the road.
Oh, is he not coming with us?
No, he is. He says we should go off the road. Yeah.
So I was actually going to
He did
suggest
say
the
you.
same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. He says we should not go through Snowfeld because he says for one, Nox is a target of the Baron now, probably. Well, certainly. And also he'll actually tell you guys. He's like, I think I might be a target of him as well. Of his.
Hey, Runbout,
Yes.
do you recognize this sword? And I say,
Um,
pulling out Striker.
Miles, his name.
Yes.
He doesn't mind being called. He doesn't mind being called Rhymebout. He understands. He's like he understands. He's like
I've known this man for much longer than you have, and I've always called him Rhymebout. He is going to stay Rhymebout.
You're about to meet his father. So like,
there's just something about knowing somebody by a different name for a long time. And I look at Miles, just kind of.
I'm gonna plead to Miles that is disrespectful because he's been using a dead elf's name, and that he shouldn't call him that anymore.
wow.
Not gonna lie, I can't actually remember what. Okay, that's the last name you go by currently. In my notes, you're only your actual last.
So he says that when he sees the sword, he's like, what? How? Why have you not shown me this before?
You remember why Ulfgrush and Layna?
Oh, it's related
really
to that cursed thing that happened, whatever it was.
Yeah, whatever it was.
I see. And you somehow came into possession of one of the Blades of Alder. Actually, I think I had a better name, but he says something like that.
Wait, hold up. What?
There was a name I had. I think it was like something like that. Let me find it.
Well, to be more specific.
Yeah, the Blades of Alder. Hey, I got it right.
Some highly powerful magical man, god, whatever he is.
I'm pretty sure he was the
came into possession of this blade.
He's like, yeah, I actually was right. I remembered it. They're called the Blades of Alder. He's like, and he got you into possession of one of the Blades of Alder.
Yes, actually.
Is that cannot be the real thing, because that one, I am sure, well,
I assure you it's authentic.
Before I was back in the kingdom, it was a few years, but last I knew it was in Norland, with the Duke of Norland.
Yes, that's what I had thought before I laid eyes upon.
Do any of us, bardish type people know what the Blades of Alder are?
Yeah.
Well, I rolled a history check and I rolled pretty badly.
But would we even need to roll?
Well, that was when you guys had just seen it. This is now that you've heard the name of it. So,
Blades of Alder.
You guys would, for the two of you who have music backgrounds and stuff like that, I'm not even gonna make you roll, but I will make you roll to see how much you know about it. Yeah, but you guys definitely recognize it. Yeah, no, you definitely recognize it without even having to roll. But in terms of how much you know, okay.
What about me?
Look, Nox never went to school. Don't make fun of her, okay?
Well, Miles had already recognized it and known.
I've recognized this specific sword because I saw it in North.
Okay, that's right. You didn't. Okay, yeah, you rolled 2 then.
It's not a story the nobles would tell.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck
up. Okay. So hold on, let me say. So you would Okay, hold on.
They exist.
Oh man. Okay. Here's the thing. He's probably gonna. Okay, this is fine. So the two of you, so Nox and Anna, you guys.
If I don't know anything,
you absolutely.
The DM wants to give you the information, but the dice say no.
Tell me what.
You guys both know what these things are. You definitely heard multiple songs reference these. Maybe they're not the focus of a whole song just about them, but they definitely are mentioned. The first king of Alderland held these blades, one of these blades, or held a blade. And these blades were called the Blades of Alderland. And so that I
always hated those songs.
So you know that this thing, if this is a Blade of Alderland, as it's called, you know that it's super rare, super important, or just historically important at least.
Sure, yeah.
And then Miles, you remember that, and you also remember now, or so you had. So I'm thinking that maybe you hadn't just put this together, but now you remember. Now that he mentions this and calls it the Blade of Alderland, or a Blade of Alderland, or Alder, you remember that there's actually more than just one of these. There are 3 of them. Other than that,
I have any clue where the other 2 are? or normally
what
be
they are
if the deity hasn't stolen them?
Yeah, more importantly, what they are.
Has.
So, you would know The others are somewhere in the kingdom supposedly.
Wow, I never would have guessed. That was an Alder's Landing.
Hold on, a blade of Alder. Those are real.
So Ulrich looks at you and he's like,
evidently so.
Ulrich looks at you, he's like, of course they're real. What did you not think they were real?
Well, I've never seen one before. Oh, I guess the Shield of Felling turned out to be real, so I guess I'll just stop talking.
Side note, the wand that I have isn't attuned, right? The magic detecting one. It's just the thing you use.
It's just the thing you use. There's charges.
Yeah, I'm gonna hand him the wand and be like, here, use this. Since he was wondering whether it was legit or not.
Oh, Ulrich?
It's quicker. Yeah.
And yeah, he would use it and be like, it is real, or at least another magic copy, but no, it must be.
He might also be getting a little bit of magic shock looking at us right now, since, let's see, I have a skull fragment
you got
currently,
a bunch of stuff, yeah.
Magic armor. Nox is just fucking stupid glowing.
Can you tell me, by the way, what the weapon that Arlana had was? Because I traded that.
Oh, yeah. I definitely have that on here. Give me a sec.
Jeweled longsword or something?
No, that was Cinderox.
Yeah, Arlana, she actually had a magic one.
It did like a D8 thunder.
Yeah, it did
damage,
1d8
10 thunder damage.
1d8 thunder damage. I think.
Yeah,
let me check that. But I'm pretty sure it was just a normal longsword, but 1d8. Hold on. Let me find it. Actually, wait. I can just look at her character sheet. Let me do that. That's easier. Lady Arlana. Yep, it's a normal longsword plus 1d8 thunder damage.
Okay.
So it is magic.
What the fuck? You can drag proficiencies now?
Oh, that's cool. So anyways,
you can do what to what?
You can drag proficient, like search longsword, and you can just drag a proficiency onto your character sheet.
So
yep.
So anywho,
that's pretty dope.
So
but it's not +1. It's just got extra damage.
Yeah, no +1. It's just extra damage. So it's it's not that great, but
does that require attunement?
Do normal 1 +1s require attunement?
+1s
do not.
Okay, so it doesn't then. I would say it doesn't because it's about as good as it's not super good.
So it's just it does extra damage.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
I give that to Alejandro.
Oh, nice. And he's like, "Thank you, my lady."
Thunder and lightning. Mostly just thunder.
Actually, 1d10 because he's two-handed.
By the way, since we're just dipping out immediately, what was Grizzle's intent when he was saying that he'd handle the kobolds? Was he like gonna follow them around?
No, he was going to come with you guys because he wanted to go. Well, basically because negotiations fell through with the Baron, he was going to go to the Duke with you guys.
All right, so
because
he'd just be like, "Oh shit! Well, I guess the old man will take care of the kobolds and
exactly."
Then.
He basically would have told you Anna in private. He'd be like, he basically tell you that since the Baron kind of hates you guys now or something like that, you aren't on good terms. He's like, he gave me his permission kinda, and then the whole confrontation went down. So I kind of want to go to the Duke and get his permission because his
that makes a lot of sense.
Yep. So he definitely wants to go with you guys, and the rest of the kobolds will go.
Yeah.
Plus, I've got Jim the accountant. He's got John the kobold sage.
Yeah. I had a name for him somewhere. We used.
Yeah, I can't remember if we already named him.
But... He had a name. I just don't have it on hand. Anywho, so the
I picture that he's the old man, but he's actually only like 40.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So Ulrich though, Ulrich / Rhinebout would he's going to tell you guys a little bit more about these swords. He would tell you what he knows. He's going to be like or these blades of Alder. He'll tell you what Miles knew. As I said, that there are actually 3 of these things. And he says, the blades of Alder. Yes. Last I heard, I knew one was in Northland, and I think that the Duke of Aver or Averton had another. But I do not know where the third was. And I'm surprised that Nox and Anna, that you do not remember exactly what the other ones were, although they are quite old, and stories have changed about what they do, but the other ones, supposedly, the other two, that one there, if that really is the real thing, he still seems doubtful, even though he's like pretty sure now. He just can't believe it. He's like this one is, and he has to think about it. Striker, right? Destroyer of goblins.
Yes, precisely.
The other two are Sunderer. Oh, I hear myself. Sunderer, Overlord of the Giants, a greatsword, and Vanquisher, I believe, was the third. Suzerain over halflings, and that one is a flail, not even a blade. Kind of funny, isn't it?
Interesting. Which one does House Ava possess?
I believe it was the flail, Vanquisher. Well, in fact, my father, he, back in the day, had issues with them because they used it as a symbol of authority over the halflings in their realms, and we have a lot of halflings in our realm as well.
Was our Layna part of House Ava, or was that just some of the other knights?
No, there was one other knight that had been there when that whole confrontation with the Baron went down. There was like
It's like you made an enemy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she was from Aver. Yes, she was.
Okay.
Well,
okay, but not our Layna though.
No, Alana was one of the Snowfeld knights.
Well, regardless, I would say to Ulrich, well, we may have made an enemy of House Ava, so if things go poorly or well, depending on your definition, we may see that sword ourselves. Or flail, rather.
And he's like, my father has no love lost for House Ava, and neither do I.
Well, I'm glad we're all on the same side.
Speaking of...
But, he'll actually cut you off. He'll be like, but the last thing I'll say is, you'll recognize the Blades of Alder, because they all have that same ruby pommel stone.
Okay.
And then he'll look to Miles. Sorry to interrupt.
All right. So, about your being the Duke's son.
Yes.
When was the last time you were in Durndale?
He looks at me, he's like, I don't think I've ever been to Durndale. Well,
no. Oh, well, my parents run it.
I passed through there. Your parents run it.
Oh, Miles is revealing. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Miles. Did you say your parents run a town?
Rather large one, yes.
Or city?
You're telling me that your parents are roughly as powerful as mine.
Yes.
And he kind of like gives you like a smile, like a weird smile, like what in the world? He's like, I knew we didn't. We got along by more than just chance.
Wait, so this Adam of Durndale fellow...
My father disappeared long time ago.
Well, it appears he's at least alive.
If anyone looks at Anna during all of this, you just see the most overly done look of shock.
Like, oh my!
How could this have happened? I thought he was a country bumpkin.
Ulrich is like, he's like, so, in that case, I believe, no, I never really visited Durndale. I passed through there once, I believe, but most of my connections lie in the western part of the Isle.
I'm surprised you never suspected anything. He does speak rather strangely for commoner.
I guess this explains why you talk down to all the nobles we've met.
Nobles leave a bad taste in my mouth.
And yet here you are. Did Anna actually reveal that she was a noble, or did she just say that she was looking for her father?
I never went into specifics. I just said I was looking for my father, or information about my father, even.
Then
so I'm here.
Then I would say, well, then here you are, a noble yourself, and hanging out with another.
And Ulrich is like, yes, This is quite strange. Well, in that case, Miles, my father certainly would enjoy meeting you. If your father has disappeared, who rules in his stead?
My older brother. He's actually the one who kicked me out.
Oh. So you're not on good terms.
You could say that.
Very well. Very well. No matter. We'll figure things out when we reach my father. I haven't seen him in years. This should be... He'll be happy to see me.
Well, I certainly hope so. Just hope he's not too upset about his other son being dead.
Yes. I do hope I get to see my other brother as well. My last living brother.
All right.
So in that case, are you guys about to head out? You're all in agreement that you want to go to Fellington?
Yeah, I think so.
Sounds good.
Yep.
So yeah, it'll be a few days travel. Actually, it'll be probably like a 1, 2, 3, I'm looking at the grid.
Side note:
5 days.
Have
maybe.
I ever met Miles's father?
No, I
He
don't.
disappeared a long time ago.
Yeah, I don't think so. I had sort of figured that most of the people that Anna had met had been like people that were guests at your manor in the capital city, in Alder's Landing. I had sort of figured that you hadn't yourself traveled around much, and definitely I don't think Adam was the type who would come out there and visited. So yeah. He had enough to deal with. Most of the people you had met were like other minor nobles, you know, who would come by and have a dinner with you guys and like work out trade deals with your father for, you know, I don't know, enterprising
Some
things.
plates.
Yeah, yeah. Anywho, yeah, so it'll take like a good 5 or 6 days to reach Fellington. Especially if you guys are trying to stay a little bit off the road or just, you know, try to avoid people as much as you can.
Really just avoiding
Snowfeld, right? Yeah. So
Well, you see, while we're traveling there, I'm going to get my spell slots back after resting.
Yeah.
So, the next day, I'm going to try and cast Sending to my father and ask him where he is.
That's actually what I was going to ask. So... Hold on.
I'm gonna delete all my green lines off this. It's a little ridiculous.
Like, I'm glad there's no overage fees right now, because I'm going to be doing lots of talking.
You could probably
Lots
also
of
delete
people.
all these word circles and all the other lines.
Give me a second here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess also the other thing I would say is that do any of you guys have anything you need to stop for in like Instrad or any other small towns on the way, or are you just gonna get
Oh,
to
well,
the
we're
capital?
not stopping at Instrad because that's the other place.
We can stop in Insured. What's he gonna do? But we're not stopping in Snowfeld.
I mean,
He'll
he'll
tell
probably
the-
tell Snowfeld.
He'll tell Snowfeld, yes.
I mean,
He'll tattle on us.
I'm not too worried about that. I mean, if
And
you guys-
also, like,
it's fine.
going north and then to Fellington would probably make as much sense as anything.
Yeah, I was kind
Also,
of looking
none
at
of my characters have any
Fierceton,
bad beef
Fierceton.
in Snowfeld.
So
You're
then,
welcome to go through it on your own.
Like, we could go to Fierceton to Searmston.
Kass got out before they got mad.
so
Layna wasn't part of the
Yeah.
reason they got mad.
Is that... What the fuck? How do you say that?
Diverton? Is that one? I don't know.
Diverton?
Dibberton, I don't know. I don't even know. Diverton. I think I'd pronounce it differently every time.
Diverton?
Diverton. I don't know.
Diverting.
Any way is fine, Jack. Don't worry too much.
I was thinking we could go that route.
The northern route,
or
yeah.
that.
Dissexterton?
Yes, I say so.
I trust me. I don't care if you guys butcher the pronunciation because I don't really have any set pronunciation. So you just pronounce it how you want. Anyways,
I mean, it's more
The
reading.
word threw me off.
yeah. So so when you send the
Dibverton.
okay, so I think when you
Man.
send when you send the sending, go ahead and roll me a d20, flat d20 real quick. Okay. And I have a question for you. Let me look at sending real quick. It recognizes you as the sender if it knows you. You can't answer. Okay. It's like, so you send a message, and you actually do receive a response.
Well,
what do you say,
what's
though?
your message?
Yeah. I would say, what is your message? Because that will determine the response. But you are going to receive one.
I guess, like, even though they recognize the sender, I'd be like, Dad, this is Anna. Where are you? I'm looking for you. Would be about it.
Okay. It'll be like, hold on, I gotta type it out to see. Well, no, it's just gonna be short. It'll be like, Anna, how is this possible? I do not know where I am. I'm sorry. And then it would say, actually, it would say one last thing. It would say, crap, let me look at my notes real quick.
You have 11 more words.
Yeah, 11 more words. Okay. It would say...
Yeah.
Give me 1 second. I have this somewhere in my notes, but I don't know where it is.
Like, it makes sense that, for the sake of the spell, that it's limited to a certain number of words, but it's also, like, so random, like, everyone just knows that they're limited. Exactly.
He would say, he would tell you to find someone, but I have the name here somewhere. I just gotta find it in my list of names.
I really thought he was going to stop at, I don't know where I am.
No, he's gonna tell you something.
Actually, I also thought he was going to stop at, how is this possible?
Yeah, I was like, no. Or just rambles on, not understanding the spell.
So he's gonna, and then it cuts off right in the leave inside. No, he's gonna be like, he's gonna say, the last thing he'll say is, find Herald of House Rolick.
Herald.
Yeah, I got it.
Of
Herald
House. Harald.
House Rolick, like that. And he says, find Herald of House Rolick. That's it.
What do I know of this house, Rolick?
Yeah, roll a history check. Roll a history check real quick.
Oh god, wrong page.
Okay, yeah. So they're definitely, and you definitely have an advantage in knowing this. But they, excuse me, they are one of the more prominent houses, actually. Harold himself is the Baron of Minslin, which is down here.
Okay.
Harold of Minslin.
He's the Baron?
He's the Baron of Minslin, yeah. And he also, Minslin rules in somewhere else. Give me a second. They are also his... Where did I put this? Yes, okay. He is also cousins with, or like some relation. I actually don't have it written. I think it's like cousins. That's what I had been thinking. Cousins with the Count of Riverton, or no, it's supposed to be Riverdale on this map. I just haven't changed it yet. It's Riverdale, who is Winifred of House Rolick. They are both related, and they're both Count and Baron of their respective areas.
Winifred?
Yeah, Winifred.
Winifred.
So they, that's House Rolick. That's their main holdings. Two cousins that own that stuff, and he says, "Find Harold of Minslin," and that's what you hear.
Let's see. I suppose that, first of all, Anna would be excited that he's even alive, and then confused. Let's see. Guess I'll make another phone call.
Call and
This
collect.
time. Yep.
To who?
This time I'm gonna message up Will.
Okay, yeah, your buddy.
I actually am gonna have to type this out though, so you guys continue.
Yeah. So let's see. So let's continue. So we'll talk about this stuff. This would be on the way, so no worries.
Yeah.
So you're on the way. I'm not gonna make you guys roll for random encounters right now.
Hey guys, go look at Riverton.
Here, can you just get rid of that?
Did you put a rim job there? Oh my god.
Okay.
So yeah, so you guys
I don't
pass
even know where that is.
by. It's in like the middle of the kingdom. So you guys pass by Inchrid or Fierstrand if you go to the north. It doesn't matter. Either way, it's gonna take about the same amount of time, like 5 or 6 days or so, depending on road conditions. So actually, let me look at my calendar because I've been keeping track of the days. You're gonna arrive in Fellington on the 27th of the 4th month. You don't really need to write this down, but there's 28 days in a month. So you're on like the second to last day of the month, and you arrive in Fellington. So yeah, we'll skip forward to there. You guys don't have any issues on the way back. And so the area around Fellington, as you guys are all coming in, I think most of you have been to Fellington before. Definitely if you have, but
I don't think I've been to Fellington.
Okay, yeah, so you haven't, but the rest of the group I think has. Fellington it's a decent sized city. It's got at least 10,000 people. I don't really have exact numbers for cities, but it's more than 10,000 people. Fellington has stone walls around it. It's right on the coast. It has it's not like a huge city, but it's big enough to have like these decent sized stone walls all around the city leading up to the water on both sides, and there's like a harbor area, and there's even like an inner keep that has its own walls, and that's like the big castle. That's where the Duke resides. So Ulrich, he tells you guys probably like within the last day, while you're on the last leg of the journey, he tells you guys, he's like, most of the common folk probably won't even recognize me. The guards probably won't recognize me, but when I tell them, I would expect there might be some commotion in the streets.
You're planning to tell them at the gates?
I probably will have to for them to let us in.
Into the city?
Well, for us to get to my father quickly. We're gonna draw some attention is all I'm saying. We shouldn't have any issues.
Well, I suppose we're kind of used to that at this point.
Yeah, he nods. He's like, we should be fine. I'm just letting you know, if any of you are trying not to draw attention to yourselves, it'll probably be difficult.
I kind of just tap on the shield of Fellington and say, it's a bit late for that.
And he smiles and he's like, don't worry about that. Very well. And so yeah,
it's a bit late to not be drawing attention.
Yeah. So you guys so you start walking through the outer parts that are outside the walls and coming into town. And yeah, so when you guys are stopped at the gate, and Ulrich goes up and okay, I'll tell you what you get from that in a second, Kragos. But yeah, he talks to the guards here at the gate, and they're like super surprised. They clearly weren't expecting this. He shows them like a seal or something, some sort of proof, and they run off. And like before long, you guys are met with like a group of like a dozen guards or something who escort you through the city. So you go through the city. City's, again, that's not huge, but it's big enough. There's several streets that you pass down, and people are actually starting to crowd around and watch you guys. And maybe you even hear a couple people like cheer out. Fellington is a city that has like the main industry here is actually like metalworking. There's a lot of metalworking here in the city. But there's a bunch of other stuff. There's a lot of like wool working stuff, weaveries and things like that, tanneries and stuff like that. Because again, there's tons of sheep up here. That's one of the big things. So lots of wool and lots of hides from sheep, and then stuff like that.
I love this place.
I was just thinking like, oh.
Yeah. So there's, this whole area, like the whole Duchy of Felling, has a lot of like sheep ranches, and especially up in the north in the moors, there's lots of sheep there and stuff, and some cattle. So yeah, tanneries, wooleries, I don't know if they're called that, wool workers,
wooleries,
weavers, whatever. And then there's a lot of iron in like the hills all around that just makes its way into Fellington, and then it gets turned into stuff and exported. So that's just to give you an idea what you see as you're walking through the city. And then beyond that, all sorts of other stuff. There's all sorts of things. It's a big enough city where you could find pretty much anything you really need. You're not going to find like a super rare magic shop, but there are a few normal magic shops with cheaper stuff. There are enough people here to support that. You walk in, I would say actually you also see more variety in the people that you see here than you have seen in other places. There's actually, so it's mostly humans, but like a good chunk of the city is halflings. Like 15%, maybe 20% of the city is halflings. So a good chunk. And then occasionally you'll see actually the Centresians mixed in there, which you haven't seen up to this point in the campaign. But they're the ones, when I think of them, they have like, the main distinguishing feature, the reason you can tell they're not human is because they have golden eyes that almost seem to glow and are like very, very, very like distinct, like, what's the word? Very distinct. These golden glowing eyes. And so like you see a couple of them, and they have very like fine features most of the time. And most of the time have like this dark black hair. And so you see a couple of them because they exist in all the major cities of the western part of the continent. You see a few elves going through. You might even see a couple dwarves walking around. And a couple, a few Avriels actually too. There's a good variety of people here. Nothing too out of the ordinary. No huge neighborhoods besides the halflings, but there's definitely variety here. So, as you guys are walking down, you see all this. And you make your way to the castle here. You walk into like this inner keep walls. There's a courtyard in here. And this keep is pretty darn big. Oh, you know what? Actually, I had prepared something for this. Hold on. No worries. So anyway, so you guys are walking in. Oh, here it is. Yeah, hold on. Give me one sec. I had prepared, when I was looking for like images to show, inspirational images, I found one of a city that I was like, oh, this kind of looks like what I had imagined. This is obviously a modern picture of a, like, I think this is like a Welsh city. Here. But, hey, something kind of, you got to get the idea, right? It's something like that. Yeah. Probably not, the beach probably isn't as distinguished. It's more of just a harbor and a little bit of beach and that's it. But something like this. This is roughly what I had in mind. In terms of the city, and obviously except this doesn't have a big wall around it, but still I thought that'd be good for inspiration. That's what I was thinking of.
The wall is actually the front layer of buildings.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
People live in the wall.
But anyway, so that's it. So sort of imagine something like this.
All right.
And anywho, so the, and I'm just gonna do this just because it's easier for stream. So you walk into the castle here, and you're met by a bunch of the guards, and they and you actually have like a procession now, like a freaking royal procession. And probably before you reach the keep itself, you are met up with by a specific knight, and let me find a description of them. You are met halfway through the city by this this knight who is who actually is riding a horse, and he like trots up towards Rheinbout, Ulrich, and has a rapier at his side, and actually has a lute on his back, and he's dressed in half plate armor, and he trods up to Ulrich and starts talking with him. Basically says like Ulrich, is that you? And Ulrich is like, yeah. And this dude is like, I haven't seen you in 15 years. And they just kind of exchange pleasantries, but clearly they know each other. And this guy isn't that old. He's a little bit younger than Ulrich / Rheinbout. But around, this guy's around 30 maybe. And yeah, and then they basically just talk and are catching up the whole time. Clearly, Ulrich knows this guy. And okay. so yeah, and oh, and I forgot to describe something important about this guy. On his half plate armor, there is hold on. On his half plate armor, there is a in the center of it, there is the icon of Felling, the bear. The bear's like sort of head. And its eye, it's a side angle, so you see one eye of the bear. And the eye is a bright sapphire gem, is what you see. This big old sapphire gem is in the eye, and it's twinkling. And yeah, none of the other soldiers and like minor knights that are guarding you guys have this gem on their armor or their icon.
Okay.
And yeah, so you guys continue on to the keep now, and you reach the keep, and dismount and everything, and Ulrich basically comes up to you guys and says, we're about to go in and meet my father here, and he points up to these big set of double doors.
Yes, we are.
All right, let's.
He is well, it's been many years, but he's a good man, but a gruff one. I do not know.
We've dealt with plenty of gruff men lately.
She's right.
But we should. I will introduce you all, and if I introduce you, we'll have no problems. And with that, he turns, and with this other knight dude standing beside him, they walk in through the doors. And they lead you into this big hall. There's like a fine carpet leading up to the little like throne pedestal area. And this is a much bigger hall than the area that the Baron of Snowfeld or the Lord of Instrad had. Both of them had these tiny halls that were maybe 30 feet wide. This is a grand hall, right? Like with these big pillars and stuff. It seems like it's still smart architecture, like it's not overly decorative, it's still defensible. The double doors that you guys go through clearly could be barred if they needed to be and stuff, but it's a nice hall nonetheless, and there's like a stained glass sort of window facade behind the guy, and behind the pedestal here, where the throne is, this chair. And there are a few people in here. Give me a second. So first off, the first thing that catches your eye is the Duke himself. He is sitting in his luxurious chair here, and he's dressed nicely, but he actually has armor on, some like mail armor, nothing too out of the ordinary, but he has some nice looking mail armor on. He is a dude who. He has black hair, but he's older now, and you can tell that because he has sort of like salt and pepper sprinkling in his hair, really. He has these dark green eyes, you can see as you get closer, and a scar that runs over his face, across it, from the bottom left cheek up to like his nose. And yeah, he's like in his 50s, he's an older guy. And even though he's sitting down, you guys can tell that he looks like he has he looks like he carries himself like a warrior, definitely, even though he's aged. He looks like he's about to pounce if he needs to. Next to him, all around, there's lots of guards in this place. However, beyond that, there are two other very, very heavily dressed, heavily armed, knight-looking people. Who both also, there's one who is another 30-year-old looking dude, who has a long sword at his side and a shield that he's holding it with one hand. He also has this bear with a big old sapphire gem, a sparkling sapphire gem set in the middle of it, and he's standing on the right side of the Duke. And then on the left side is a young woman who looks to be maybe 20 or so. And she does not have any weapons in her hand, but she has a shield on her back and is wearing half-plate armor. And both of them two just seem to be staring at you guys, measuring you, sizing you up as you guys are walking up. And they're both standing at the ready next to the Duke. So yeah, so like that, there's them two. They both and she also has this bear that has a sapphire eye set in it. And the two more people. Theravel is also here. Theravel is standing on one side, off to one side of the Duke, and he's smiling at you guys as you enter. And there is also a Centresian over to one side, who is wearing really nice garb, very nice clothing. And this Centresian, on his clothing, has an icon of a spear with flames behind it. You guys don't have to roll anything. You all know that this is the icon of Isidore, who is the main pantheon. I'll put that in chat. Isidore, who is the main pantheon god of strength, power, and resolve.
Okay.
As this man is wearing garb that has this icon on the chest of it, and he's a Centresian. And that's it. That's everyone who's in the room. It took a little bit to describe, but they are all here, and they all wait for you guys to arrive up at the front. And Ulrich, when he reaches the front, he bows before his father, actually. He bows, and he says, he basically says, Father, I have returned. And the Duke looks at him and looks at all you guys, and he says, rise. I don't know, actually, would you guys have bowed too when Ulrich did?
Probably.
No.
Okay. To anyone who did, he says rise, and he stands up now and walks down to you. And he walks down to Ulrich, and Ulrich has risen and they look at each other for a good 20 seconds, both just staring at each other. Before finally the Duke, a smile comes over his face, and he starts laughing, and then he hugs his son. And basically they start and actually you even see a tear come from Ulrich's eye, and they very clearly are happy to see each other. And this goes on, there's maybe a minute where they're just conversing back and forth, them two. And then finally the Duke says, he says, well, my son, who are these your friends? And he looks to you all, Ulrich does, and he's like, they can introduce themselves. They have earned it.
Hi, I'm Nox.
Yep, and the Duke, he comes over to you, and he reaches out his arm to shake your hand.
Sure.
And he gives you a good, hearty handshake. He has a lot of strength in his handshake. And he looks at you and he says,
guess who doesn't?
yeah. And he's like, I am Mortain of House Konar.
That's a name.
Yeah.
I am pleased to make your acquaintance, Nox. And if I'm not mistaken, that is the shield of my family you have at your belt.
I look at it. I look at him. That's what they tell me.
And he gives you a serious look, and then a sort of a smile comes over his face. He's like, we'll discuss that in time. And he goes to the next person in line. I don't know who that would be. But
me, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Miles, I say, giving him a smile.
Yes.
Smiles.
Miles, And where are you from, Miles?
Dundale.
Dundale. It's quite a ways away from here.
Yeah, and I'm looking to go back.
You don't have the speech of a common person.
I suppose you could say that.
Very well. Nice to meet you, Miles. I feel like you and me have things to discuss as well.
You'd be correct.
And he goes to the next one.
That'd probably be me. I'd probably be near Miles. Probably saying Elven, what's up? I'm 2.
He responds in Elven.
How about you?
He responds in Elven, and his Elven is impeccable. Actually, it's not perfect, but it's pretty good for a human. It's actually
is it really good to common day standards or my standards?
What do you
What
mean?
does that even mean?
Yeah, I don't know what that
my
means.
Elven's probably more primal.
It's definitely not the same that you're used to, but it's pretty much it sounds more like what Richard speaks, basically, or well, not Richard anymore, okay. Ramon, but in terms of compared to what Ramon / Richard speaks, it's pretty good. pretty good. It's about as good as his is, and he's a native elf just like you. But it's not what you're used to exactly. Yeah, but that's fine. Still though, he's like but he's a good speaker for a human elven speaker. Probably a little better than Nox and Anna. Not trying to throw shade, but he's had more experience.
Sounds like you are.
Yeah, he's an older dude. He's had more practice. Anyways, though, so he and you'll learn. Anyways, though, so he's like so he responds in Elvish and he says he introduces himself again. He's like, I'm Mortain of House Conair. It is nice to meet you too. And I don't often see your type here.
I don't oftenly come here.
And he chuckles and he's like, very well. We will also talk in a bit. And you, going on to Anna.
Anna, she gives a formal bow and kind of points at Grizzles, and this is Grizzles.
A kobold. I've not seen one that hasn't immediately attacked me, but he is with my son and he is with you, so I trust he can behave himself.
I believe you've heard about the drake near the moors, right?
Yes.
Grizzles right here had a large part in slaying him.
Wow. In that case, you are welcome here, Grizzles. And Grizzle's probably just... Grizzle's is actually probably pretty shy in front of this dude, because this guy's pretty powerful. And he definitely has a strong personality. Grizzle's is a little shy, but he just nods at the dude. Very well.
Charisma just can't compete.
Very well, now that we're all introduced, and he would actually, so I didn't describe it, but he would have also, met Richard / Ramon, I'll call him Ramon for now on, but... because he had not met him before, but he after he shakes hands with all you guys, he says, "Very well, you've already met Therival. Therival had told me about you all a bit, and Therival, is here and nods.
Yeah, we might have met a couple of times.
This I would like to introduce you to my personal knights here. Well, not my personal knights. These 3 knights here, pointing to the ones who had the blue sapphire eyed bears. These are my knights known as the Sapphire Bears of Felling. These are 3 of the 5. There are 5 of them. This here is Brynhelm, referring to the original one who had the rapier. Sigfirth, talking about the guy who was next to him with the long sword and shield, and Eithelind, which is the young woman. They are heroes of Felling, and they are here to protect you, as am I, while you are a guest in my home. And they actually all give you a little bow. My other 2 knights are off doing business for me. This other my other friend here is pointing to the Centresian is Sebrion, and he is a correspondent or a chamberlain or someone who aids me around here in diplomatic matters, but he is a correspondent from the Temple of Isidore. And I will send out the guards, and we may discuss anything that we need to here.
All right.
So, how prominent is Isidore in this country?
You lost somebody.
Yeah, it's Perplex.
He said he died.
Oh, rip.
So, we are... Yeah.
Okay,
as a side note, what do I know about that Centresian's religion? in this country.
Well, so it's not a Centresian religion, actually. It's mostly human religion.
Well, it's his religion.
Oh, yeah, his religion. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah. Well, so Isidore is one of, like, the major gods of the pantheon. I would say I would have you all make religion checks, because I think that's fitting.
Wow, religion checks to know stuff about religion? Who would have guessed?
It'll be really easy for Nox because Nox grew up in this city, and this is actually
It'll be really easy for me too, apparently.
This is actually something. Yeah, this is actually something specific to the city more. So DC is going to be a lot lower for Nox than it is for the rest of you.
Not wrong.
Fucking, what the hell?
All right.
I think your dice are fucking cursed.
Welcome back, Perplex.
Those digital
Hey,
dice are
Perplex.
Hello.
something strange about them.
You're a quiet boy.
Don't turn me up.
All right.
Don't do it.
I'm gonna do it.
Do it.
Oh.
Oh, I didn't even get that far.
All right. Welcome back, Perplex. We were. I had everyone roll
Told you
religion
not to do
checks. I had everyone roll religion checks to see what they know about this Isidore.
Roll religion.
Yeah, roll religion
I can
checks.
bet one person in the party, actually 2 people in this current group that know nothing about the religion.
So, so if you want to, you can roll a religion check. It's going to be a harder DC for you because, you know, you're not from around here and you don't know.
Yeah, I mean, just like, let me open everything.
Yeah,
back
make your
up.
roll, though. You might have learned in your time here, so that's why I'm making
On like 90% of things, I'm just going to assume Grizzles knows nothing unless you tell me otherwise.
Oh, yeah. Grizzles would not know hardly anything. He would not know anything about this. No, yeah.
Since his interaction with civilized society is rating it.
Yeah. Yep.
Up until recently.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. My computer like kind of just froze.
That's not good, yeah. Well, yeah, so just whenever you get loaded back up, I know you're loading it. And yeah, Jack, like I said, you don't have to roll at all because you're gonna know this.
Religion, wow. I'm real good in that stat.
Okay. So Perplex, 2 would know about as much as I had already told you guys, which is that Isidore is one of like the major gods of the main pantheon that exists in most of the human areas here. You know that it's a god, it's a major god. However, everyone else, Nox, Miles, Anna, you guys would all know that beyond that, Fellington in particular, the largest temple organization in Fellington is actually the Temple of Isidore, and they are actually heavily linked with like the bureaucracy of the city and the duchy, but mainly in the city itself. And that's why I was saying Nox definitely would know this because you grew up here. The temple, and actually, so Nox would actually probably also know about these sapphire bears as well, even without having to roll. Yeah, these things are sort of, you would actually know that the Temple of Isidore actually is sort of linked to this the idea of these sapphire bears, which are like the elite knights of the duchy and the city. Whenever a new one of these 5 sapphire bears, whenever one passes away or retires, whenever a new one comes in, the temple actually basically is the one that holds the ceremony. It's like priests of the Temple of Isidore that like hold the ceremony, and so they're symbolically linked to the city and its defenders.
Okay.
And Miles and Anna, you guys would not, maybe you guys probably wouldn't have actually heard of the defenders, but you would know that, Fellington, yeah, they have that big Temple of Isidore that's really influential.
Yeah, big old temple.
Yeah.
The religion that's sweeping the nation.
Yeah, well, not the nation, but specifically in Fellington. Actually, with that roll, I would say, even 2 would probably know this. Isidore is actually a pretty popular deity in all the island. Probably you would all know that. He is a pretty popular deity in the whole island, but especially in Fellington, he's a really big following. Anywho, so the Duke Mortain introduces this guy as well, and at this point he would send out the other guards. He would leave in his sapphire bears, his elite knights, and they're all giving you actually like good looks now, like smiles and stuff. They seem to be okay with you guys, And isn't that nice? So not immediately being talked down to by nobles and knights. Anyways, so the everyone leaves this room, and the Duke looks at you all and says, he looks at you. He sits down again and actually says, "Very well. Me and my son will catch up, but I wish to hear from you all. Really, who you are and what you've done. I've heard of your deeds, but always 3 links removed. Well, Theravel here is the closest I've come to hearing of your exploits directly. I know that you slayed the Drake, yes, and now I know that this kobold here has helped with that." And he smiles at Grizzles. But what else have you done?
Well, we found some ancient artifacts, as you can see. We also uncovered a bolt to Sclerovrac. Apparently was trying to...
He cuts you off there. He's like, a cult of Sclerovrac.
Correct.
At least that's what Sclerovrac told us.
And he looks
Also
down.
correct.
He looks down. He looks away for a second. He's like,
You'll be probably not too pleased to know that your son Zindarok was heavily involved.
my son Zindarok. And now he looks at the rest of the people in the room. He says, "All of you go, except them and Ulrich." And actually, he looks at you guys and he's like, "Let us move to a different room." And
hopefully this room that we're going to is magically shielded.
And actually, so the Centresian temple dude, Sebrion, he's like, "My Duke, would you not have me around? I believe this is an important matter that needs the city would like to know about." And unless any of you guys say anything, then the Duke will rebut him and be like no. And he's very serious tone now, and tells this dude no. So the Duke, he looks at all of you guys and he basically says, "Let's go to a different room." And he leads you, and he brings Ulrich, and actually, Ramon, Richard will come with you guys too. But that's about it. Even his personal knights are gonna go, and this other priest dude, and actually Theravel will come too, I guess. He trusts Theravel. But you guys go actually out of this main hall area and like up a little spiral staircase, up a story or two, and he leads you to this tiny little war room, basically, with a big table in the middle and like some desks off to the side where scribes would be, and it's a small little room. And he walks in and he says, "Take a seat."
Sure.
And
I look at the wizard. Is there anything to prevent divination here?
out of character real quick. Is there a wizard spell that can do that?
Well, you see, I have a spell that can block divination. Okay. As far as wizard spells, there's probably something specifically, but
because he would actually...
There's also plenty of non-spell magic that can do that. And there's stuff like lead-lined walls, and it depends on the divination spell specifically, because they all have different limitations.
He would be like, Theravel would be like, "I don't believe there is, but I can put something around us if you wish."
If my lord would allow, I can take care of that.
To the Duke, or like just in general?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Duke is like, yes, that'd be good.
Alright, I'm gonna start... Let's see. I'm gonna start fiddling with my viol and casting a spell. Before I start, I'll just say, 1 minute.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna tiny hut this.
Yeah.
You need a tiny wait.
It blocks magical effects going through it.
Yeah, how big is it though? It's like 50-foot
It's a
radius.
10-foot radius.
10-foot radius. So it's pretty,
It's
with
20-foot diameter.
Yeah, so that's enough. It'll be like a little.
Hey, you're the one that said a tiny room. Tiny room and a tiny hut.
It's not that tiny though, but it probably fits though, you guys. Don't worry.
I'm sure it fits around the table.
It goes through walls, like that.
Mm-hmm. It's fine. Yeah.
There might be a couple of perturbed guards if it pops through any walls or ceilings. I just picture like a random like green wall just through somebody's wall.
It's fine though. So you guys now can talk in private, and after you do this, then Ulrich, we're gonna say that you have this table and the chairs around it included. That's the center. So you guys are all sitting around a table inside this hut, this bubble, and the Duke looks at Ulrich and he's like, and Ulrich is holding like his head down, almost in like in shame, and the Duke is like, "My son, you did not tell me this." And Ulrich is just kind of like hanging his head there, and he's like, "Yes, Father, I know it's difficult." And I don't know. Do you guys say anything, or you let them have their moment for a second?
I'm going to keep quiet for now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got time.
Yeah, and the Duke so he like looks. He just kind of stares at Ulrich for a bit, and then he looks at all you and says, "So my son was leading this cult, this group."
Well, I seemed like he was leading it. There's some, and I put air quotes up, high priest as well, somewhere.
Yes. It seems as if he was leading the local cult. Not necessarily the entire cult.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Duke looks around real quick at the different doors, even like, you can see through it or whatever.
Yeah.
Because he looks very paranoid, and he's like, "Tell me, did you see this icon anywhere?" And he actually unbuttons the top part of his shirt and opens up his shirt so you can see part of his chest. And on it, you actually see an icon that looks familiar. I never actually described any particular icon, but is the icon that you guys had seen several places relating to the Order of Sklerovrak.
Yes, we've seen that.
I don't want to alarm you, but I was once a part of the Order.
Should probably give us more explanation.
I was once a part of the Order when I was young and full of hatred and full of anger. And then, here's the thing. The Order is an order of secretive nobles, mostly.
We sort of gathered that based on the membership.
And I joined it when I was young, when I was younger than you all. When I was a teenager, newly ascended to the throne, I thought I needed more power in a physical sense and in a intrigue sense. I thought I needed the power to control people behind their backs, and I was mistaken. And I realized that. But I was part of the cult 30 years ago now, it must have been. And then I met my wife. The most beautiful woman I've ever known. And he'll actually, hold on, he'll tell you guys her name too. He'll be like, my wife, Destra, a half-elf. She was the most beautiful woman I'd ever met.
Ew, elves.
Well, a half-elf, yeah.
Gross.
And actually, when he says her name, he says it in Elvish. Like if it's slightly different in Elvish, but he says her name in Elvish, and again, it comes out very perfectly. Especially her name, it comes out perfectly in Elvish. And he says, I met her, and we had my children. She bore my children for me. And Ulrich blushes a bit. No.
You're all part elven.
Ulrich he looks up at you guys and he nods. But the Duke continues and he's like, she was beautiful and then when she turned my heart from being evil into she made me a little more wise and then I realized I couldn't be a part of the order anymore. So I left it. And that was around the time of the civil war in the kingdom when the current king, Aldish VII, succeeded to the throne. I supported the king, even though I don't really like him. And, well, the current Duke of Aver, he was a member of the order. And he took that as his opportunity. He supported the other side, the other claimant to the throne, and he took this as his opportunity to strike back against me for leaving the order. And he kidnapped my wife and held it over me and manipulated me. I went and I used the last bit of influence I had with the other members of the order, my friends. I used the last little bit, the last favors I had, and I managed to infiltrate his castle and kill him, but not before he killed my wife.
I see.
And when that happened, this was a few years after I had left the order, and my son was a bit older. This was only 15 years ago now. And when this happened, my youngest son, Zindarok, something in him snapped, something in him broke when his mother died, and he blamed me for it. He hated me. And my third son, Sigric, he defended me, and him and his brother Zindarok fought all the time. And one day, I walked in and found him dead at his brother's hand, at my son's hand.
Somebody died.
I exiled my son Zindarok. I sent him away, and I hoped he had died.
Well,
but he didn't.
He has died at this point, so there's some positivity today.
And he looks at Nox and he just kind of looks at you and he's like, he needed to die. He was corrupted. Something in him broke that day, and if he was leading a branch of the order, then he truly was evil. He knew that I hated the order and had turned from them, and he specifically went to them.